USA, USA, USA.
The game officials for this game have been licensed and assigned by the International Ice Hockey Federation. Das Schiedsrichtergespann wurden vom internationalen Eishockey-Weltverband lizenziert und für dieses Spiel bestimmt. Die Hauptschiedsrichter dieses Spiels, the referees of the game, Oliver Kummer und Anthony Irabel. Bereits heute Videodirektor Ken Lazare und Miroslav Slotski. Please give a big hand for Team USA. Now welcome to the welcome on the ice, Team Finland. The starting lineups of both teams starting with Team Finland belonging to the starting six from Team Finland. In goal, im Tor number 29, Ivan Swansik, Century. On defense, in the Verteidigung number 55, Andrei Oktomon. Number 60 is 18, Julius Monko. Im Sturm, forwards, number 24, Ivan Swansik, Jasmin Lagerman. Number 33, Ivan Reisen, Markus Anfreiten. Number 62, return Oscar Olsson. Now starting six of Team USA, here is starting six there USA. And goal, in total, number 35, Team Finland Rising, Jimmy Howard. On defense, in the Verteidigung, number 8, Peter Jacob Gruber, number 65,
check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5.
Number 19, the Lonson Craig Keller, number 27, Ivan Swansik, and the Sleep.
Good afternoon and welcome to Cologne, Germany. It is the first of 4 quarterfinals on this Thursday. 2 here in Cologne, 2 in Paris. The United States lost its opener 2-1 to Germany, but since then has reeled off 6 consecutive wins, finished first in Group A, and will play host to the Finns, who staggered at times through their group play, finished 4th in Group B, and have Harry Satori in goal. Satori came on against the Swiss in relief in their second to last game rather. Stopped all 21 shots as the Finns came back to win that game and is now the #1 netminder. Leighton Keller, the 18-year-old, pokes out ahead for Team USA. Keller knocks that down and behind the goal. And the pass moved ahead Hannakainen swings that down. Some lineup and line changes for the Finns. Almost all of their lines are different. Jesse Puljujärvi, who was a healthy scratch in their last 2 games, is back in today. As Keller works down low for Team USA. Hannakainen drops that back, puts it right in the stick of Jack Eichel. A centering pass for Keller. A backhand shot gets blocked. And also up back for it for the Finns.
Sorry, Gord, the first time the Finns have played in this arena, they were in Paris for their pool. Had to travel yesterday, not a big deal, just about a 3-hour train trip, but first time on the ice here, and so we'll see if there's some oddities to the rink that they have to figure out as they go along.
Kelly Matty Savanainen works in, that's picked off and brought back the other way by Brock Nelson. Nelson, good drop pass for Johnny Goodrow, and a shot by Noah Hannafin goes wide. Race to the corner now. Dylan Larkin falls. And Nelson has it back for Team USA. He lost the puck to Mikko Rantanen. Right now by Savanainen, a quick shot, and the glove save made by Jimmy Howard of the Detroit Red Wings.
Howard makes a rather easy glove stop on Savanainen's wrister. Savanainen was impressive in the preliminary round. He scored a couple of goals. Real good on the power play, shoots the puck well. He's got a pretty good engine. Here's a line that's changed a lot for the Finns here. Sebastian Aho has moved into the middle with Jesse Puljujärvi, as you mentioned. These two had outstanding chemistry in the World Junior Tournament last year. Puljujärvi's had a difficult time in this tournament getting his feet underneath him.
He sat on the bench for the first 5 periods for the Finns, finally got in, and then was healthy scratch for the last 2 games. This is the first time Aho has played center in the tournament.
I've wondered when they were going to get this combination together. The Finns, as you mentioned, Gord, they've kind of stumbled around a little bit. They've really had trouble playing consistently well for any stretch of time. And Aho is a natural centerman and a real clever player from the Carolina Hurricanes. Is in the middle today for the first time this tournament.
They've only scored first twice, have the Finns in the tournament. Johnny Goodrow winds his way in. Goodrow drops it back at the point for Dan DeKeyser. DeKeyser in, shoots. That's tipped wide by J.T. Compher. Kevin Hayes spins and shoots. That goes off a stick over the glass and out.
Kevin Hayes was a late add to the United States, played the last couple of games of the preliminary round. As we get a look at Lauri Marjamäki, the 39-year-old head coach of the Finns, that's had a tough go here at the World Cup. They scored 1 goal in 3 games. Here they've not had anything easy through their first 7.
Led Belarus 2-0, squeaked out a 3-2 win, lost to France for the first time in their history, to a 3-0 lead. Lost to the Czechs. Trailed Slovenia early, finally beat them. Scored the tying goal with 29 seconds to go against, allowed the tying goal with 29 seconds to go against Norway, pulled out an overtime win there. We're down 2-0 to the Swiss and came back and won that game in overtime. It's been a wild ride for the Finns, who were perfect through the preliminary round last year. Finally lost the gold medal game to Canada. Julius Honka slides out ahead. In comes Hannakainen for it. Marcus Hannakainen swung that around. It's picked off and brought back the other way by Dan DeKeyser. J.T. Compher works in. Needs to go off on a change. And Nico Lettman plays it around. He turned the puck over again. And a spinning shot taken there by Christian Dvorak, 21-year-old. So many young players on this U.S. national junior team, or U.S. national team that have experience with the national junior program. Dvorak scored 52 goals for the London Knights a season ago, and 15 goals as a rookie with Arizona this year. Centering kind of tipped line there by Valtteri Filppula, as Rantanen tried to find him. Savanainen works it back in the corner to the point he goes. Topiakova's shot, that's wide. Rantanen holds the line, feeds it down to Filppula. Valtteri Filppula shoots, tipped wide by Rantanen. Wraparound try, sent back in front, and a rebound poked wide there by Filppula. Good pressure here by this Finnish top line. As Jack Eichel has it back for Team USA.
30 shots in 7 games for Eichel, no goals on the tournament. Funny how a tournament which seems like a short little burst can feel much longer. And for Eichel, it's got to feel that way with nothing on the board yet.
Czechs and Russians are underway at this hour in Paris. As Jesse Pugliardi goes in for the 4th overall pick in the 2016 NHL draft to Edmonton. Paddles for in the corner, finds Aho. At the line, Honka, long shot, that skips wide. And waiting for it is Nick Schmaltz from the Chicago Blackhawks across for Brady Shea. Rada hits slowly now. Shea fires that down, waiting for it is Honka. Knocked down by Nelson. Fed back in by Shea. And the lead pass for Juhamati alternate. Skips down to the corner. Aho still out there, feeds it back to Honka. Honka swings it rink wide to Lassie Kukin, the Finnish captain, shoots, and through the traffic, Jimmy Howard makes the stop.
There's Val Filppula of the Philadelphia Flyers, traded at the deadline from Tampa Bay to Philly. He's got 1 year left on his contract in Tampa, and Filppula, like his team, had a all-over-the-map preliminary round. He had 4 points, a couple of goals, but he took some uncharacteristically untimely penalties in that first round. Still a player that the Finns are going to have to count on today, and looking for more balance by splitting Aho off that line with Filppula and Rantanen and putting him with Puljujärvi.
Jonas Kemppainen won that drawback. Now Kemppainen, the former Boston Bruin, finds Antti Pilström. Picked up now by Hayes, and Hayes goes rink wide for DeKeyser. Hayes scored his first 2 goals in the tournament against Russia in that 5-3 U.S. win. Those were his first goals of any kind since March the 12th. He didn't score in his last 24 regular season or playoff games in the NHL.
He and JT Miller really went flat in the playoffs for the Rangers, really hampered their attempts to get past the second round again.
Jacob Trouba goes back for it. Trouba, one of 3 members of the 2013 gold medal winning team for the U.S. National Junior team, is here at this tournament, along with Connor Murphy and Johnny Gaudreau. They've also got 3 from their 2017 gold medal team on the roster. Clayton Keller snaps that rink wide. The pass skips away from Anders Lee. Lee with 5 goals in 7 games, works in and shoots, and a save made by Sathari.
Really good give and go, Eichel and Lee. And a dangerous chance that Sathari's able to put aside.
Oscar Ossala sends that down as Jimmy Howard steers that away easily. And Connor Murphy, the U.S. captain at the age of 24. Had that pass broken up. Now Murphy skates right through the Finnish player and knocks the puck out to center ice. A steal now, almost, by Keller. Now Keller does take it away. Finds his way in, Clayton Keller. Topi Jääkelä stays with him and knocks that puck free for Savanainen. Savanainen into the ribs of Filppula, and Filppula slides that down. Howard sees it and is able to hang on. No score here in the opening period. It's quarterfinal Thursday at the World Hockey Championship.
Just started. There's one more quarterfinal tonight to come here in Cologne, and also the semi-finals, the bronze game, and the final. And all those games, there's the tickets available at the arena box offices and on the official website of the World Championship. It's IIHF2017.com. Die Eishockey-Fans, es gibt noch für alle Spiele und Spieltage in dieser Finalrunde Tickets, auch für heute Abend fürs zweite Viertelfinale Kanada gegen Deutschland. Alle Tageskassen der Linksess Arena oder online auf www.ihfworlds2017.com. Also Tickets für das Viertelfinale heute Abend sowie die Halbfinalspiele und das Finale. Alles Gute.
USA!
No score here in the first period in Cologne. Later on tonight, Canada will face Germany in the second quarterfinal here. Czechs and Russians are scoreless in the first period in Paris. Later on this evening, Sweden takes on Switzerland. It'll be a raucous building tonight. German games have all been sold out, and they fought their way into the medal round with a come from behind shootout win over Latvia. Pass move rink wide by Nick Bukes down to the Florida Panthers. That's turned over, and Savanainen works it in now for the Finns. Charlie McAvoy back to pick it up. At the line, Filppula can't hold it. And Bukestad took a poke at that. What a year for Charlie McAvoy, Ray. began the year at Boston University, signed with the Bruins at the end of the year after winning a gold medal at the World Junior Championship, went to Providence, then got called up and played his first games in the playoffs for Boston.
With injuries to Torrey Krug and Brandon Carlo, the Bruins were shorthanded, so they put their prized possession prospect, Charlie McAvoy, in the lineup, and he was outstanding in that first round.
3 assists in 6 games.
The thought was that, kind of ease him in a little bit. He ended up playing with Zdeno Chara and over 20 minutes a game and handled it just fine. He's such a strong player, good skater. He's physical. He's got some edge to him, really shoots the puck well.
So they line and pokes out ahead. Can't find Juha-Matti Aaltonen with it. And away comes Trouba. Jake Trouba, the top defenseman of the 2013 World Junior Championship, fires that down as Billy Lyon picks it up. Poked back by De Keyser. Trouba snaps that pass ahead for Schmaltz. It misses. An icing call against Team USA.
Jacob Trouba started the year not playing in Winnipeg. He was holding out for a new contract and didn't get the contract signed until November the 7th. Signed a 2-year deal and had an outstanding year. 8 goals on the year, 25 assists as well. And as the year rolled around, Jacob Trouba was playing as much as anybody next to Dustin Byfuglien on that Winnipeg defense.
Yet the long shot at the goal post. It was tipped in front and hit the pipe in behind Jimmy Howard. Lead pass to Nelson. He finds Larkin. Dylan Larkin tries to spin out of the corner. He falls. And now Schmaltz has it back. Nick Schmaltz works down low as Hietanen steps into him. Schmaltz skates right through that stick check and feeds it down to Larkin. Larkin drops it back for De Keyser. And De Keyser. Rink wide. Trouba's shot goes off the stick of Schmaltz and wide. Schmaltz back with it. Tied up by Hietanen. Feeds it back to Nelson. He gets poke check there. As Hannakainen sent it back down to the American zone. Both teams changing as Trouba works in. He was tied up by Philpott. Now threads that pass ahead and a quick shot there by Comfort. And Sathary gets a glove on that. Another quick drive there by Hannafin. Sathary makes the stop as Andrew Kopp was looking for the rebound.
Larkin and Lyon tie the face-off, and the puck bounces back to Hietanen. There's the deflection by Lyon off the draw. He takes Hietanen's wrister and he's going to deflect it up over the glove of Jimmy Howard, directly off the post and out. There's the beauty of the 1-and-out games. The Finns have been all over the place in their preliminary round. You don't even need to be the best team when you get to the quarterfinals. You need to be the best team that day, or for most of that day, or have the best goalie. It is why I think the 1-and-outs are the best part of any tournament.
Last year, the Czech Republic went 6-1 preliminary round, played the U.S. in the quarters, and lost in a shootout. Long drive taken there by Ati Otama. That was blocked. Out it comes the other side to Kopp. Andrew Kopp, the native of Ann Arbor, Michigan, plays that in. Also Winnipeg Jet. Otama rings that around, knocked down by Murphy. His long wrist shot got through. Sathary made the stop through the traffic. Anthony plays that down as Noah Hannafin of the Carolina Hurricanes goes back to pick it up. Fifth overall pick in the draft a couple of years ago. That pass is poked ahead by Puljujärvi. And Jesse Puljujärvi goes in for it, pokes that wide of the goal. Aho back with it. Sebastian Aho slides it back to Billy Lyon, and his shot hit the leg and went wide. Picked up by Hannafin. And he finds Eichel. Janik Eichel winds his way in across the line. Eichel has a look. Sharp angle shot, punched away by Sathary. Right to Aho. Rink wide he goes for Pierala. Pierala drops it there, and Kukkinen lifts that wide of the goal. Picked up now by Aho. Aho swings it back to Hietanen. Hietanen's wrist shot was blocked. And now there's Lee almost busting in. Sathary way out to play it. And banks it around for Lehtinen. Knocked down at center ice by Kevin Hayes. Plays it across for Shea. Brady Shea sends that down. Icing called against Team USA.
Marjamaki is looking for a cross-checking penalty at the blue line as Anders Lee blocks the shot. Oh man, he cross-checks Hietanen right in the side of the helmet. see Yetman's feeling the effects of that. The much bigger Lee, who's 6'3", runs into the 5'11" on a good day. Juuso Yetman.
Face-off won by Hayes, tapped back by Shea, and he finds McAvoy. Charlie McAvoy, just 19 years of age. Now moved in front, a quick chance there. As the save is made on Kemppainen by Jimmy Howard. Another chance for the Finns in the early going here.
I've liked the way they've played the first part of this game. There's been not many times in the preliminary round where the Finns have had much sustained pressure. I like the way they've rejigged their lines. They have more depth. They look like they're more aggressive. Putting Aho with Puljujärvi gives them a secondary attack. And there Jonas Kemppainen, who had 2 goals in his 1 year in Boston. He played 44 games, but he had a good scoring chance there.
Brock Nelson brings it down and banks that down to the finish zone. Picked up there in the corner by Nick Schmaltz. Schmaltz moves to the middle now. Schmaltz drops it back for Hannafin. Has room and tried to find the stick there of Nelson. Larkin back with it. Dylan Larkin drops it back down to Nelson. At the line, Trevor Van Riemsdyk with a shot that goes off the end boards and wide. Picked up by Kemppainen, and Van Riemsdyk keeps it alive for Team USA. Larkin, rink wide for Nelson, walks right in. Nelson in, Wade shoots, pad save by Tattery. What a stop there.
He started really good, Gord, and I've not loved the way he's played some of the games, but an excellent start here.
Schmaltz swings that rink wide. And now Larkin has it back. Larkin swings it down. Hannafin tried to center it, that was blocked by Jääkelä. He stopped all 21 shots he faced against the Swiss. It wasn't always an oil painting.
No, it was an oil spill at times in there. He was all over the place, but when he came in, the Finns were right on the ropes, down 2-0 early, looking like their tournament was really in jeopardy, and he really closed the door.
Brady Shea plays it in. Honka moves that to center ice. And played back in as Howard is out to play it. Johnny Gaudreau chips that for Hayes. Kevin Hayes trying to poke that by Honka. Loose at the line and the kick away at it. Held at the line by Gaudreau. In the corner he goes for Hayes. His centering pass hits Sattery's arm and bounces back to the blue line. McAvoy couldn't hold it.
He was trying to score from there. He's trying to hit the side of Sattery's arm and bounce it into the net as the goaltender's just a little bit off the post.
Now jammed in behind it is Mikko Lehtinen. Lead pass finds Rantanen, but Rantanen banks it off to Dvorak, gets it right back. A centering pass, backhand shot put wide there by Savanainen. Now Lehtinen plays it back in the corner. Here's Rantanen trying to work that free to Savanainen. Picked up by Dvorak, and he pokes that across to Comper. Comp got squeezed there by Lehtinen, and Dvorak back on it. Down to Comfort. His centering pass went off the stick of Dvorak and brought back the other way by the Finns. Rantanen works in along with Savanainen. Both teams changing as Rantanen buys some time and plays that right down to his own goal. As Yetinen swings back. Now a steal. Moved in by Larkin. He finds Nelson. Brock Nelson. Swings it across. Puljujärvi waves at it, and finally Sebastian Aho picks up the loose puck. 2017's been a great year for USA Hockey so far. Won the World Junior, the under-18s on the men's side, won the under-18s and the Women's World Championship as well. The first 4 major competitions of the IIHF calendar have all gone to Team USA. Here's Aho picking it free. Aho swings that back to Otama. After Otama with a shot that goes off a leg and wide as that was blocked by Schmaltz. Looks in the corner for Aho. Aho centers it there. Pierrella shoots. That floats wide. Juha-Matti Aaltonen on it. Lays it back, and that long shot taken there by Ati Otama. Kicked away by Howard. And Nelson back with it. U.S. is changing as Nelson on the second try clears that down for the U.S. and goes off on the chain. Just over 5 to go here in a scoreless first period. Brady Shea goes back for it. And Shea, the native of Lakeville, Minnesota, Brings that ahead for McAvoy. Chipped in by Lee. And back goes Ville Laine. He got hammered there by McAvoy in the forecheck. And now Lee has it back. Swings that pass across. It's picked off. Chance now for Juha-Matti Aaltonen. In, shoots, and Howard makes the save on the breakaway try by Juha-Matti Aaltonen. Back to the line, Ville Laine. Plays it around for Kemppainen. And the Finns have had the better of the chances here in the early going, but back comes Keller the other way. Clayton Keller works it and shoots. He fired that wide. Trouba. Being worked over there by Osula. Osula stays on him and Trouba moves away. Lead pass. He finds Hayes with it. Now Hayes regroups. Empty spin around at center ice. Gets around Jani Lainen. Reds out ahead for Bjugstad. Nick Bjugstad back at the point for Trouba. Across to the Kaiser. Dan the Kaiser in, shoots. And the glove save is made by Sapari. 3:56 to go here in the first period. Still no score.
Footage on the screen. It's the quarterfinal Russia versus Czech Republic. And the final score of the first period is Russia 1, Czech Republic 0. Wir schauen uns gleich die nach Paris. Wir sehen gerade ein Film auf dem Geo-block. Dort auf das Viertelfinale Russland gegen Tschechien. Aktueller Spielstand im ersten Drittel. Russland führt für das.
Juha-Matti Aaltonen, the 31-year-old, plays for IFK Helsinki. Had a great chance to open the scoring, but Jimmy Howard turns him away.
A breakaway from the U.S. blue line on the turnover. And Anders Lee coughed it up and then he tripped, and so he wasn't able to get back and shut him down. But Aaltonen looked like he was unsure as he went in. He looked back behind him to see if someone else was with him. Held the puck, and Jimmy Howard was able to get in front of it quite solidly.
Shots are 8-6 in favor of the United States in Paris. Dmitry Orlov has scored to give the Russians a 1-0 lead against the Czech Republic.
Tampa Bay's Vlad Nemestikov got hurt in that game as well, so he's out of the game in the first period.
Brock Nelson winds in. He's poke check. Ultimate up ahead for Mikko Rantanen. Rink wide pass finds Filppula. Back at the point, Jokela, long shot. That's tipped, and Dan DeKaiser touches up, or Trevor Van Riesler rather tugs up, and a hook-in call will go against Team USA with 3:33 to go here in the opening period. And Louis Schmaltz who goes off.
The Finns have 5 power play goals in the tournament. The U.S. has given up 5 power play goals, and we'll see the first power play of this quarterfinal game. There's the hook of Schmaltz. Here's the earlier breakaway. Altima's going to go to the forehand. Howard slides back and spreads out to the post and is able to take away the bid.
Team USA number 17, Schmaltz.
On the backhand, Dan DeKaiser sends that down. Here's the trade coach, Jeff Blashill, behind the bench here for Team USA. Ville Laine brings it out. He and his brother Jani, teammates on this Finnish national team. As Rantanen moves in. Rantanen for Aho. Set up now on the power play. Hietanen for Aho. Aho plays it back. Ville Laine shot got through the traffic and goes wide. Hietanen and Rantanen have each scored twice for the Finns on the power play. Moved across now to Aho. Sebastian Aho to Ville Laine and back for Aho. Trying to find a lane, swings that down to Rantanen. Rantanen back across to Aho, swings it back, and Ville Laine, the shot goes off the outside of the post. That might have been tipped. And Laine swings back to those puck. A minute to go in the Finnish power play. Lead pass for Aho. Americans are changing. Aho works in, and Larkin came back on him. Savanainen holds down for the Finns. Down to Aho for Honka. To Aho. To the goal line he goes. Rantanen hooks it back in front. That pass missed. He was all alone in the back door. Trouba Up ahead for Nelson. Chips that to the line and then out. 30 seconds to go in the Finnish power play. Nikita Kucherov has scored 2-0. The Russians lead the Czechs. Altonen. Plays there for Filppula. Back at the point. Otava. In the corner for Filppula. Osala gets to it. At the point he goes for Julius Honka. Honka lines in, has room. Still in, Wade sends it back in front, missed the stick of Altonen. In comes Otamo with it now. On the ice, steps Schmaltz, and that clearing attempt goes over the glass and out with 1:29 to go here in the first period.
Pretty dangerous play with Julius Honka with the puck. The Dallas Stars first rounder from 2014, weaving his way around the offensive zone. He's done this a couple of times in the tournament. He gets Dvorak to freeze and then walks through. He's got a shot, but he wants to go to the back door for the deflection. He slides it wide to Jimmy Howard.
One shot on goal for the Finns on that power play. Face off won by Hayes. And Van Riemsdyk picks it up. Played out by Bjugstad. Nick Bjugstad has had rotten injury luck the last couple of years. Back surgery at the end of the 2016 season and a broken hand to start this year.
Now, once he got hurt with his back in late February, early March of 2016, it's been a real tough go for him. He went about 25 games without a goal this year, finished with just 7 goals in 54 games. And there is Johnny Gaudreau, who had a tough start after signing his lengthy extension in Calgary. He looked a little bit out of sorts, and then all of a sudden the points started to come on a more accustomed pace. 61 points he had this year for the Flames, who put on quite a rush in the second half to make the playoffs.
Now Filppula against Larkin for the face-off. And not done correct. Filppula shown up. Final minute now, the opening period. If you're the Finns, you probably take this, don't you, Ray?
Oh, I think you love this. Love the way that they played. Their goaltender, Sattery, made a couple of stops, but they were aggressive. They controlled most of any zone time that there has been. It's a terrific play, or a terrific period for them, in particular how they've played throughout the tournament, when it's basically been a grab bag of what each hand is a little bit of a surprise for them.
Didn't get as many players from North America as they'd hoped for. Patrick Laine at the end of a long year that included the World Cup declined the invitation. Other players needing contracts said no. Lead pass finds Filppula. In comes Valtteri Filppula. Poke check there by Van Riemsdyk. Last year a dream year for the Finns, as that pass is picked off by Rantanen. Drops it back. Filppula backhand shot. That was blocked and set down the ice by Shea. Finns won the under-18s, the World Junior, and got to the gold medal game with the World Championship before falling to Canada, narrowly missing out on becoming the first team to win the under-18s, the Junior, and the World Championship in the same year. And there is Jeff Blashill.
Second year in Detroit for Blashill. First year they made the playoffs. This year the Detroit Red Wings streak, of course, breaks at 25, and a lot of change ahead in Detroit. A very busy summer ahead for Ken Holland and the Red Wings.
Now Honka's shot, that's tipped high and wide. A lot of players took a step back in Detroit this year as well. They'll be hoping for bounce back years from them. And time expires here at the end of the opening period as the Finns and U.S. play a very close, scoreless opening 20 minutes.
And not much to choose from between the two teams, but as you said late in the period, Gord, I'm pretty sure the Finns would be really pleased with the way they played that opening 20 minutes. The Americans have another gear for sure.
No score here after one period of play. You're watching the 2017 World Hockey Championship from Cologne.
Together to get things stopped and be cleaner the other way. A veteran in the locker room, how much does it help to have Jimmy Howard back there?
Yeah, it's huge. There's a lot of guys that pick up a lot of the slack and have been big players for us this whole tournament. And how you're not going to have success unless your goalie's one of your best players, and he's been that way. And we hope that everyone else can step up too.
What adjustments will be made ahead of the second period?
I think just us moving forward instead of regrouping and swinging, and it allows them to get into their traps and different defending things they have. But as long as we play faster and going more straight up with it, we'll be good.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No, thank you.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
No goals after the first period between Team USA and Team Finland. Zwischenstand nach dem ersten Drittel.
I need you to cue me.
Den USA und Finnland, und wir schauen auf die Schussstatistik im ersten Drittel.
Connor, 20 minutes in the books. What have you learned about Finland?
They work hard. I think they outworked us that period, but we just got to be cleaner and kind of work better together to get things stopped and be cleaner the other way.
A veteran in the locker room, how much does it help to have Jimmy Howard back there?
Yeah, it's huge. There's a lot of guys that pick up a lot of the slack and have been big players for us this whole tournament. And how you're not going to have success unless your goalie's one of your best players, and he's been that way. And we hope that everyone else can step up too.
What adjustments will be made ahead of the second period?
I think just us moving forward instead of regrouping and swinging, and it allows them to get into their traps and different defending things they have. But as long as we play faster and going more straight up with it, we'll be good.
Thank you very much.
First intermission, so it's time to have a look at the top 3 saves of the previous day. That was on Tuesday, and you can watch the top 3 saves now on the screen. In der ersten Pause schauen wir uns einzelne bei dieser WM auf die Top 3 Torhüterparaden des vorherigen WM-Spieltages. Das ist in diesem Fall der Dienstag gewesen. Und die Top 3 Saves gibt es jetzt auf die Ebene. For both teams, for Team USA against Team Finland.
Team USA and Finland scoreless after the opening 20 minutes in the first of 4 quarterfinals being played today at the World Hockey Championship. Later on today in this building, it will be Germany against Canada. In Paris, Sweden will take on Switzerland. Right now, the focus here on a tight game between a USA team that won 6 in a row to close out the opening round. The Finns won 3 of the last 4 to get in.
The U.S. team's built on speed and skill, and they sure didn't play very quickly, even though they outshot the Finns 8-6. Majority of those shots were in the first 6 or 7 minutes, but a rather lethargic period by the U.S. And there is Jack Eichel, who had a rather tumultuous end to the season in Buffalo. An excellent year, although he missed time with a high ankle sprain. He had 57 points in 61 games, but all kinds of talk around the end of the year meetings and whether Eichel wanted a new coach or didn't want a new coach. And at the end of the day, Jason Botterill is now in charge in Buffalo, and the U.S. will be shorthanded again.
Yeah, in the opening moments here of the second period, a tripping call goes against Anders Lee, and so the Finns get another power play. They had 1 shot on goal on their first.
Lee has the puck knocked off his stick, and often talk about those 2 or 3 seconds right after a turnover are the most dangerous, where you're the most vulnerable to take a penalty, and Anders Lee ends up getting a tripping penalty, and the U.S. shorthanded for the second time.
Filppula for the face-off. Also kicks that back to the point, but no one was there as Jännänen moved in. So Jesse Puljujärvi goes from being a healthy scratch in back-to-back games to being on the power play.
But if you're going to have him in the lineup, you want him for his shot. I don't know that Puljujärvi has played well when he's been in the lineup. He seems to have trouble with the pace a little bit, but he can shoot the puck.
He comes down, fires, and Howard makes the save.
You're going to put him in, you got to put him in a position to succeed, and the power play is one of those spots, although this will be a short-lived shift for him as Filppula finds him outside of the U.S. penalty killers, and you can see it in the look on his face. That shot's not delivered to anywhere near where he wanted it to go to. That's dead center, right off the S of USA on Jimmy Howard.
Scramble drop, picked up by Aho. Back he goes to Ville Laine. Laine to Aho. A centering pass, tipped right on goal by 7, and rebound, score! Rantanen on the second rebound, pokes it home, a power play goal, and the Finns have taken a 1-0 lead.
Mikko Rantanen's second goal of the tournament. He scored 20 goals in a really disappointing year in Colorado. He was one of the few bright spots. The Finns win the faceoff, they control the puck, and Rantanen, a second crack, beats Jimmy Howard for a 1-0 finish lead. Sebastian Aho is going to get this puck to Savanainen in the middle of the ice. Savanainen is a dependent upon player for the Finns. His tip is stopped nicely by Howard. Howard stops the rebound, but it's actually try 3 that Mikko Rantanen puts in behind Jacob Trouba and over the glove of Jimmy Howard, and it's 1-0.
And the Finns poured 4 shots on goal on the American net on that power play, and now have the lead.
Goal for Team Finland.
A penalty to Anders Lee, a power play goal for Mikko Rantanen, and a 1-0 finish lead. This line of Johnny Goodrow, Nick Bjugstad, and Kevin Hayes did not have a shot on goal in the first period. In comes Bjugstad with it. He watched there by Rantanen. Bjugstad plays it down low to Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow drops it down to Hayes. Gets tied up there by Ultimine behind the goal. And Filppula shields off Bjugstad. Well, Filppula falls. It's for Rantanen. That pass missed and icing waved off. We mentioned the Finns only scored first twice in the preliminary round and lost one of those games. Bouncing puck for Goodrow now. Spins back in front of Kukkonen. Drops it back. Hayes with a quick shot there looking for a tip. That went wide. Hanifin throws it in front, knocked down by Ville Laine. Hard bank to the line and out as Hanifin goes back to pick it up. Dylan Larkin shovels that wide. The United States not unaccustomed to trailing in games in this tournament. trailed Sweden 3 different times before winning that game 4-3. Trailed Latvia twice, won at 5-3, and trailed 3 times against the Russians before winning 5-3. But a dangerous game to be playing, trailing, and now you're into the single knockout game. Larkin's break wide pass. Bounces back at the point. Here's Hannafin. Slides it up, and that shot fired high and wide by Schmaltz, and the puck goes off the glass, up and out of play.
20 goals for Mikko Rantanen in his rookie season. This starts with a face-off win by Sebastian Aho, or rather by Savanainen actually. Savanainen ties the drop, and then it's going to get to the middle of the ice. No player played more for the Finns in the first period than Veli Savanainen. His shot is tipped, or he tips the shot by Aho, that high slot tip play, and Rantanen gets a couple of whacks at it to give the Finns the 1-0 lead on the power play.
Trouba blast, it goes over the glass and out.
When you're built on speed, if you support the puck, you really start to push the other team back. The U.S. is very quick, but they have not supported the puck very well in the first bit of the game, and not close enough, not any give-and-go plays, and the Finns have been able to keep themselves in good defensive position because of that.
Kemppainen knocks that down for Lehtinen. Crossy goes to Hietanen. Now it's center ice. Keller chips out ahead for Eichel. He was poke checked there by Antti Pilström. Eichel has it back. A centering pass just missed Keller. Back at the point. Hannafin a blast that was blocked by Kemppainen. Picked up the Kaiser with that shot. Now who's behind the goal? Hietanen banks it off the glass into the corner. Lehtinen slides out ahead. Pilström chops out. The puck goes back down to the corner for Keller. He finds Eichel. Jack Eichel works it back, and fanning on that shot was Shea. And look out, you might be out there and fired that into the U.S. bench. And the faceoff will stay in the Finnish zone.
That's a good shift for the U.S. Eichel, Lee, and Keller are on the puck. They cycle it back behind the net. That's when the Finns are going to be at a disadvantage, when they've got to start going side to side to chase these U.S. forwards around. It's really an uncharacteristic passive Finnish team in that preliminary round. When we think of the Finns, we think of them as aggressive, and they forecheck and they get on the body. They didn't do any of that in the first part of this tournament.
Annikainen falls in the corner. And loose puck poked ahead there by Goodrow, but now picked off back at the point. Ultima long shot, that's tipped wide. Zasala got a stick on that. Out of center ice, Topi Jakala stepped in front of Goodrow. Now Annikainen plays it back down to the U.S. zone. Just underway in the second period in Paris. Russia still leading the Czech Republic 2-0. JT Comfort lays it down to Goodrow, sweeps that across. And now Goodrow battles for it. Feeds it back to Shea. Kukkonen plays it around for Rantanen. Rink line he goes for Kukkonen. Up ahead for Savanainen. Veli Matti Savanainen plays for Tampere in the Finnish league. Led that league in goal scoring this year.
He went from 7 goals the year before to 30 this year.
Savanainen up ahead for Aho, bumped there by Murphy, and that goes Jordan Greenway to pick it up, the 13th forward for the U.S. Greenway did not have a shift in the first period, now a long shoot in, kicked away by Saturi. Jordan Greenway, remember that 2017 U.S. national junior team that won gold in Canada in Montreal.
Man, was he good in that tournament. Teams had a tough time getting a handle on Greenway, who's 6'5", 230 pounds.
Along with Charlie McAvoy and Clayton Keller, 3 members of that World Junior team here for the U.S. They won just a couple of months ago. Dylan Larkin drops it back, walking in a chance there, fired high by Bjugstad. Now Larkin back with it. Bjugstad picks it free. Bjugstad worked that back, it's picked up by Puljujärvi, and the Finns are ahead. McAvoy deals back now. More than 6 gone here in the second period. Yakala has that puck skipped by him. Played back in by Hayes. His pass is picked off by Yakala. Kemppainen goes rink wide and finds Aaltonen. Juha-Matti Aaltonen works in along with Pilstrom. Shoots, that goes wide. Out the other side, picked up quickly by Bjugstad. He's got Goodrow with him. Johnny Goodrow winds in. Works in, sends it towards the goal. Sattery save, it trickles back down as Bjugstad got a whack at the rebound. And Harry Sattery makes the stop. 1-0, the Finns lead here in the second period.
Kevin Hayes and Johnny Goodrow played together in university at Boston College. The crazy dynamic pair that when they were together. Then Hayes, a Chicago Blackhawks draft choice, ended up as a free agent, signing with the New York Rangers. Goodrow went to Calgary. I remember the first time we saw him at the UFA 2013 World Junior Championships. Couldn't believe how small he was, and couldn't believe that this could be transferable to the NHL. But he's just got such a high IQ of the game, a vision about where to be, and his athleticism, his edge work makes him so difficult to get a handle on. He's had an outstanding start to his career, and Calgary obviously feels there's much more in front of him by signing him to the deal they did this past November.
Right on the eve of the regular season. Now that trickles wide as Honka looks ahead. And Billy Lyon works in. Centering pass is knocked down by Trouba, banks it back down to the finish zone, and this has been a sluggish start for Team USA.
I'm really surprised with how they're supposed to play, how quick they're supposed to play, and they just haven't. Here's a little example of Goodrow dancing across the zone. Bjugstad and Hayes get to the front of the net, but Harry Sattery makes the save on the Hayes deflection. But if they can get the puck into Goodrow's hands, this line in particular, the two big guys head towards the front of the net, they're going to clear out some room for Goodrow to do some damage.
Saves out one by Eichel. And the lead pass finds Lee. Skips right down to the goal. Sattery makes the stop through the traffic as Anders Lee lobbed that towards the goal. Now Filppula has it back. Lead pass from Billy Lyon finds Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen kicks that ahead. A backhand shot goes wide. Now Savanainen taken down as Anders Lee got a stick on him again. We might get 2 penalties here. We might get Savanainen, I wonder, for embellishment. Both referees have their arms in the air. Billy Lyon plays it back for Aho.
Now, if they were going to call embellishment, they'd just blow the whistle.
Yeah.
It's going to be a U.S. penalty again.
Aho swings it back. Billy Lyon right on the line. Plays it across. Lehtinen. Lyonen. Aho. Down the goal line for Filppula. Aho. Centering pass goes right through the crease. Rantanen couldn't touch it. Extra skater on for the Finns. Now Billy Lyonen throws that down low to Aho. And Aho's attempt to play it back bounces right back to him. Nelson never had possession.
U.S. is gassed out here too. They can't get to the puck.
Lyonen wrist shot tipped wide by Aho. Lehtinen plays it across to Billy Lyonen, centers it. Savanainen shot, and again the U.S. can't gain possession. Lyonen down to Aho. Taken down by Trouba. And now Rantanen comes in, Aho as well.
Got to be careful here.
Canadian referee down there, Oliver Gouin, as gloves and sticks are flying.
That's the end of the play when Trouba takes down Aho and then flips the puck up into the chest of Rantanen. Here's the penalty. Second penalty exactly the same. Anders Lee gets his stick into the feet of Savanainen. And as the 6-on-5 continues, a deflection by Aho that goes past Jimmy Howard's glove hand. And the Finns will go on their third power play. Second of this period.
They had 4 shots in their last one, scored as Rantanen tapped home a second rebound.
And I'm really surprised here that the Finns are going to start their first power play group. They were just on the ice for well over a minute. Oh, they're going to make a change here and get the second group out. But Aho and Savanainen and Rantanen need to go sit down for a little bit here.
Faceoff comes outside because the defenseman came into the altercation.
Key moment in the game here. 11.5 minutes left in the second period. The Finns up 1-0 on a power play goal, and now another power play for them.
Time 28 minutes, 39 seconds. Es gibt eine Strafe gegen das Team USA mit der 27, das EG2-Strafen wegen Beinschmerz.
Filppula plays it down for Aaltonen. Juha-Matti Aaltonen lost it, and Hayes has it taken away by Honka. Puljujärvi looks ahead, that's knocked down by Murphy. Back goes to Puljujärvi. And the Finns get set up. The lead pass for Filppula, skipped away from him. Aaltonen down to Puljujärvi, a centering pass for Osala. And Puljujärvi swings it back for Filppula. Filppula, rink wide for Puljujärvi, that's picked off and moved ahead now by Andrew Kopp. Poked ahead by Hayes, and the U.S. will change. 1 minute to go on the Finnish power play.
And the Finns will get their group on that scored the first goal. There's Rantanen, the goal scorer.
Drops it back for Savanainen. Brings it around hard for Aho. It all runs through Aho. Down he goes, takes a return pass from Rantanen. Swings it back to Ville Laine, has room. Across he goes to Hietanen. Back to Laine. A long wrist shot. Knocked away. Rebound. Aho had it blocked as De Keyser stepped in front of him. At the line, Hietanen gloves it down. Rantanen swings it across for Savanainen. Savanainen. Back now for Hietanen. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Hietanen getting louder in here now. More German fans have shown up. They're here for the later game as well.
Just getting warmed up.
Here's Hietanen. Walks in. The centering pass just missed Rantanen. Aho has it back. Final seconds now. The power play. Aho works in. Drops it down to Rantanen. A centering pass, 7-9, and turned away in tight by Howard. Ville Laine couldn't hold the line. One shot on goal for the Finns on that power play. It remains 1-0. Here's Jack Eichel. Swinging back for it. Fires it in, kicked away by Ati Otama. Kept alive now by Eichel. In comes Jack Eichel. Pivots back in the corner, being watched by Hietanen. Eichel now shovels that down low for Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow. Feeds it across for Shea. Little spinorama there. Pierrella knocked that away. Kemppainen can't clear it out. Now Otama has it back. He got closed there by Lee. And the puck loose in the corner for Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow centers for McAvoy. He moved in, tipped that in the corner. Eichel back with it. Dvorak loose in front, couldn't find him with a pass. And now Pierrella sends that rink wide. And Otama has it now for the Finns. Fires that down the U.S. zone. Shots are 12-10 in favor of the Finns. 6-2 here. They've outshot the Americans in the second period. Shea drops it off to Keller, who bats that ahead. Loose puck in behind the goal. Jokela picks it up. Jani Laine couldn't clear it out. Now Bjugstad back on it. He finds Keller. Keller loose in the corner now. Jokela steps into him. Lays it down for Dvorak. The puck still loose behind the goal. And a Hannakainen can't clear it out. Second try. Hannakainen kicks that ahead. And then Hannakainen throws it ahead for Jani Laine. Bjugstad drops it off down for Connor Murphy. He drops it back to Keller. A backhand shot into the glove of Sethary, and he hangs on to that. You're watching the 2017 World Hockey Championship from Cologne.
And once again, let's have a look at the current quarterfinal in Paris. It's Russia playing the Czech Republic on the current score. The second period is Russia 2, Czech Republic 0. This is highlighted on the screen. And in auf dem Videobild zeigt uns Bilder vom Parallelspiel im Viertelfinale in Paris. Russland gegen Tschechien nach der Zwischenstandort im zweiten Drittel 2:0 für Russland.
Lauri Marjamäki and Finland have had a rocky tournament and a rocky year, but they got a 1-0 lead on the U.S. here in the second period in the quarterfinals on this Thursday. Russia still ahead 2-0 on the Czechs in Paris.
Jordan Greenway back on the ice for the U.S. here as Jeff Blashill looking for something to change. It's not been a very inspiring first half of the game for the United States. He's out there with Larkin and Nelson.
Nelson getting a warning about the face-off alignment as Larkin steps back in. Off the draw, Greenway kicking at it. Larkin knocked down Filppula. Rantanen poked that away at the line though, help on the U.S. In comes Nelson. Brock Nelson drops it back to Murphy. Across he goes, and a crease violation calling is Jordan Greenway, and the face-off will come outside.
Greenway saying that he was engaged with Topi Jääkelä and pushed back into the crease. Probably not wrong, but the call is made. That's a pretty tight one.
Greenway named one of the top 3 players for the U.S. at the 2017 World Junior Championship. He was a load.
Kevin Hayes has made an immediate impact since he joined Team USA just a couple of games ago, and they need this line to start holding the puck a little bit more, becoming a little more dangerous, because there's not been much for them so far tonight.
Lead pass for Pierrella. Love down the U.S. zone, and Jimmy Howard has to pounce on that as Pierrella came in, gave Howard a snow shower there, and then Howard gave him a little shot.
Yeah, didn't do enough to get a penalty, though. You see the snow up on the shoulders of Howard.
Howard, the native of Syracuse, New York, played the 2003 World Junior Championship for Team USA in Halifax. That's the last time before this he played for the United States. Had a career best .927 save percentage in Detroit this year as he won that back.
This was a rebound year for him. He really struggled last year. The wheels were off a little bit, and he started well, got hurt, lost the net a bit, then had to regain it again. He was far more consistent than Peter Mrazek was. We've seen some of that inconsistency from Mrazek on the other side of the draw with the Czechs.
Nelson slides that back. Banged around by Trouba. Looks down low to Larkin. Larkin centers it, and Nelson is shot. Santry got an arm on that. Not sure he saw that.
He had no idea where this puck is. Brock Nelson, who can really sling the wrister, gets a one-timer and shoots it. You're going to see when Santry makes the save. It's tipped. Now it hits him in the shoulder. Look, he's still looking forward. He's got no idea where this puck is. So a good break for the Finns as Santry makes a shoulder stop on Brock Nelson's attempt.
Brock Nelson, a member of USA Hockey royalty. His uncle Dave Christian was a member of the 1980 Miracle on Ice team. His great uncles, Gord and Roger Christian, were gold medalists in the 1960 Squaw Valley Olympics.
And then started a long-running stick company.
Trevor Van Riemsdyk a shot that goes wide, yet Christian Brothers stick out of War Road, Minnesota.
I don't know when they stopped making sticks, but they, all through my youth, those were the sticks you knew from the United States.
We're watching, speaking of hockey royalty, there is Teemu Selanne, who will be inducted to the IIHF Hall of Fame on Sunday, along with his fellow countrymen Saku Koivu, Uwe Krupp, Joe Sakic, and Angela Ruggiero in the player department. Angela Ruggiero sadly lost her father last week, will not be in attendance. We send our condolences to her and her family. What a great player.
Yeah, she was just a powerful, dynamic player.
And now a powerful, dynamic person is the chair of the IOC's Athletes Commission.
Yes, Angela's a very clever person. She's not going to be one to not enact change in her lifetime. That is something that she will always work towards.
Jack Eichel spins back in the corner, feeds that back to the point, fed across to Van Riemsdyk. Trevor Van Riemsdyk moves it down to Anders Lee. That's knocked away as Kukkonen picks it up. Lassi Kukkonen, the Finnish captain, missed a couple of games early in the tournament with injury. And now fed down by the Finns, but icing called.
Played
118 to go.
159 games with Chicago and Philadelphia. An aggressive player, and he's been the captain of his team at Karpat for 4 straight years. He's a stable, stay-at-home, kind of rockish defenseman. 35 years old now.
Playing in his 10th World Championship. He's a member of their 2011 World Championship team. They got 6 players from that team who are here. Now Kekpainen for the face-off, and Hayes wins that ahead. Finds Goodrow in the corner with it, swings it back. McAvoy a shot that's ticked wide by Santori.
Schmaltz on this line with Hayes now, and
Pilstrom was almost away there. Kukkonen picks it up and lays it ahead for Pilstrom. He's got Aaltonen with him. But Juha-Matti Aaltonen peels off on a change. Under 5 to go here in the second period. Brady Shea, a lead pass that was ticked there by Jani Lainen. Lehtonen, head for Hannikainen. Drop back, also a shot, that's blocked. Rebound, Hilton drive, kicked up by Howard. Now brought in by Hayes. Blocks in, weak wide pass, just missed Goodrow. Jani Lainen all over Johnny Goodrow. Back in the corner now by Schmaltz. Hayes plays it back for McAvoy. The U.S. was changing. McAvoy had to be careful not to take a 2-minute man in the ice penalty.
And he had to jump or turn back around as they weren't able to complete the change. So he's at the end of a shift here.
Hannikainen peels back in the corner for Finland. Back of the line for Attama. Attama shot goes wide. Brought in now by Filppula. Spins and shoots. Tipped in front. And Savanainen couldn't get that on goal as Goodrow swings back to the loose puck. Out to center ice, Filppula plays that back for Jääkelä.
McAvoy still cannot get off the ice. He's been out there well over a minute and a half. Exhausted right now.
Rantanen knocked down in the corner by Shea. And now Larkin slowly brings it in. Again, the long change for the U.S. in this period. And McAvoy a long way from the U.S. bench. Aho kicks that ahead. And a lead pass for Savanainen, icing waved off.
And Shea was the other defenseman out there, so while McAvoy was able to dive into the bench, Brady Shea's got the oxygen tank on here, and he's just trying to get to the bench, exhausted. That's a 2-minute shift for those guys.
And much of it defending. Puljujärvi banks out ahead for Aho. Hooked down by Puljujärvi back down in the American zone. 3 to go here in the second period. And the Americans are stuck in second gear. Eichel bumped at the line. Walking in, Santori makes a quick save there on Keller. Only the 4th shot of the period for Team USA, but only down a goal here as Howard goes back. Knocked that by Puljujärvi. From the center ice to Eichel. In comes Jack Eichel. Well, shaking Victor on Kekpainen shoots, blocked away by Santori. Now Trouba with it. His shot goes off a stick over the glass and out with 2:28 to go here in the second period.
been the same story much of the game. Jeff Blashill can't get anything of consistency offensively from his team. They get a good shift here, then there's a couple of shifts where the play flattens out, then they go back in again, and like to get 2 or 3 or 4 shifts together to try and make the Finns nervous with the puck. Right now the Finns, even though they've not dominated this by any stretch, look pretty comfortable with their 1-0 lead.
Hayes, Goodrow, and Bukestad back out there for Team USA. Campinen to take the draw for the Finns. 6'5", Kevin Hayes. That's thrown wide of the goal by Bukestad. And Jokela had that pass banked back over by Bukestad, and the face-off will come outside.
Dan de Keyser's already played 316 NHL games, signed as a free agent from Western Michigan. He had teams lined up around the block when he was coming out of Western Michigan, and signed with his hometown Red Wings.
Well, he had to choose at the end between his hometown Red Wings and his boyhood idol, Steve Yzerman of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Had an apartment in Kalamazoo trying to get him to sign.
So you would think, unless he was going to live with Yzerman, he's probably more likely to get more benefit from living at home.
Tampa's pretty nice. I don't know if you've heard, but
I have heard.
they got beaches and everything down there.
Really?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Jätinen fires it down. Pilstrom looking for it.
There's the
And
first penalty.
Pilstrom takes down Trouba, and so the Finns now will be shorthanded with 2:05 to go in the second period. The U.S. power play, which has been pretty productive, will go to work as Pilstrom goes off.
Trouba not very happy with Pilstrom as Trouba's going back behind the net, and Pilstrom gets his stick into his feet. Pilstrom played in the NHL for a couple of years with, that's a brutal trip. That's a dangerous play by Pilstrom to get his stick. You saw him corkscrew his feet. And down goes Trouba. Pilstrom's a chippy little player. That's a dirty play, and he sits in the box for 2. One of Finland's better penalty killers as well.
U.S. 7 for 25 in the power play of the tournament. Anders Lee leads the way with 5 power play goals. All 5 of his goals in the tournament scored the man advantage. Eichel with Larkin and Lee. Played back at the point, held by Hannafin. Goodrow works the point in the power play as well. Here's Eichel. Jack Eichel. Works in with a rolling puck. Slides that back for Hannafin. Cross he goes to Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow in, shoots. That floats high and wide. Eichel back on it. Eichel. Back for Hannafin, across to Goodrow. Lee parked in front, takes that pass. Lee, a backhand shot, had to be the save. And Larkin couldn't cash on the rebound. Campinen on it. On the backhand, plays that down the ice. And Howard quickly ahead for Goodrow. Ultima plays it right back out. And Sebastian Aho brings it in shorthanded. A centering pass picked off there by Keller. Or Valtteri Filppula was alone in front, shorthanded. Right down in the finish zone, icing waved off as Jokela gets there. Topi Jokela digs for it. Final minute now of the period. Aho picks it up, 2-on-1, shorthanded with Filppula. In comes Sebastian Aho, slides it across. Filppula in, shoots. Howard makes the save, and the rebound poked wide by Filppula.
Red Wing Howard on the former Red Wing Filppula. You know, they've had each other's competition a couple of times before in practice. Jimmy Howard, another big stop for Team USA.
That puck play with a high stick and play is called with 34 seconds left in the U.S. power play.
We talked a lot about Sebastian Aho today, and there's been not one facet of the game where he's not been impressive. He's got an assist on the power play goal. Here, shorthanded, he sets up Val Filppula with a heady pass right on the tape for Filppula. He has played well in center ice defensively and returning to his natural position. 49 points this year for Carolina in his rookie year. Unfortunately for him, it's the wrong year to be a rookie if you think you're going to win the Calder Trophy.
What, 3 Rookie of the Year classes in 1 this year, you'd think. In comes Schmaltz, rink wide, he goes for Keller. Clayton Keller trying to spark the U.S. here. Final seconds of the power play, Keller. With Nelson standing in front, feeds that back to Trouba. Cross he goes to Hayes. That pass goes off the shin pad of Campinen and back down the ice. Final seconds of the period and the power play. One shot on goal for the U.S. on that power play. Schmaltz works in. Nick Schmaltz in, fans on the shot. And the only goal of the period is scored by the Finns on the power play. Mikko Rantanen scores 1 minute and 1 second into the period, and the Finns have a 1-0 lead after 40 minutes on quarterfinal Thursday here at the 2017 World Hockey Championship.
Here's the score for the second period. Team USA 0, Team Finland 1. Der Spielstand nach dem zweiten Drittel USA Finnland 0:1. Die Schussstatistik im zweiten Drittel. USA mit 6 Schüssen aufs Tor, Finnland mit 9 Schüssen. Shots on goal in the second period.
How you doing? Thank you very much.
6, Finland 9.
Here we go, and 4, 3.
Brock, Team Finland getting some good looks on the power play. What adjustments will your PK make?
Yeah, we'll have to kind of be a bit smarter about when we're pressuring, finding some seams. They've had some good open looks, so Jimmy's been good, so maybe we'll box it up a bit more.
What's it going to take to get the team back into this one?
We just need to play a bit faster, get more pucks towards the net. We haven't got too many grade A looks so far, so too much on the perimeter right now.
What will the message be to the guys in the locker room?
Just gotta go out there, play fast, keep it simple. Don't overthink plays, and that's it.
Thank you very much.
In the second period ist noch die letzte Spielminute im Ziel. 1 minute left in the second period ist noch die letzte Spielminute im Ziel. Yeah, as fans have a look on the screen, you can watch the top 3 goals of Tuesday's games now. Liebe Fans, jetzt auf dem Videowürfel die Top 3 Tore der Spiele am Dienstag.
The 20-year-old from the Colorado Avalanche has the only goal of the game so far. Scored early in the first period on a finished power play. So Rantanen's goal early in the second, 1-0. Does the U.S. once again have a pushback? We've seen it lots of times in the tournament so far where the Americans have battled back from a deficit. Trailed the Swedes and the Russians 3 times in both those games and won them. Here's Brock Nelson back with it. Nelson swings that rink wide. Jake Trouba in, shoots, he hammered that wide. And we're seeing that shot for the first time at the World Junior Championship when Trouba dominated UFA Russia. Scored 4 goals in 7 games for the gold medal winning Team USA.
Didn't have the headlines though. That was Seth Jones.
Right.
But that was quite a team that the U.S. had there.
Walking to Jack Eichel, a quick shot, that floats wide. Eichel back on it now. Knocks it back in the corner, and the Finnish net is dislodged. The sticks get up in behind the goal.
Jack Eichel's been pretty quiet for the U.S. in this game. In the tournament, he came in with no goals and 5 assists, 30 shots on goal, but not being able to make a difference for the United States offensively.
Russians lead the Czechs 2-0 after 2. Later on tonight in Paris, it'll be Sweden and Switzerland here in Cologne, Canada, and Germany. Filppula figures to take a lot of these third period draws. Battles there with Eichel. It's picked out by Lee. Anders Lee, a backhand shot goes off a skate. And a backhand drive by Eichel goes wide. Jack Eichel back on it. Lays that down in the corner for Lee. And Billy Lyonen stepped in front of him. Tukkonen for Savanainen with Filppula and Rantanen. And that shot by Savanainen blocked by Howard, and he gathers up the rebound.
Jimmy Howard's had a good day for the United States. He stopped a breakaway in the first period by Juha-Matti Aaltonen. Has made 2 or 3 other really difficult stops. Gave up the power play goal, which was a 3rd shot of the sequence that Rantanen put away. Just not much that Howard was going to do with that.
And now Aho, as you mentioned, playing center for the first time in the tournament. Faces off against Bjugstad, and Bjugstad wins it. Now Aho pokes at Bjugstad, the puck loose in behind the goal. Andrew Kopp swings that rink wide. And away comes Charlie McAvoy across the line. McAvoy winds in, shoots off the stick of Yetinen and wide. Long shot, puts one to the goal again, this time off the stick of Hayes. Hayes. Crisscrossing there with McAvoy, works back at the top. Hayes with a wrist shot, goes off the end boards, out the other side, and Bjugstad couldn't reach it. McAvoy taps that down to Kopp. He lost it to Yetinen. Lays it up to Puljujärvi. Now a race for it. In comes Aho. Sends it on goal, and Howard made the stop. Howard was cheating over to watch Pierrella on the 2-on-1, and Aho almost snuck it by him. In comes Hayes now. Bumping there with Jokela. Ottawa picks it up now for the Finns.
Hayes has got to get off the ice. He's going to get a penalty here.
And he is going to get it. International rules, if you play without your helmet on, it's a penalty. And Kevin Hayes
just forgot.
So accustomed to playing in the National Hockey League.
He's got to, as soon as the helmet hits the ice, you get up and you just got to skate to the bench. But your instincts are that you stay in the play because that's what he does all year. For the 4th time, the Finns will go on the power play. They have the game's only goal in the 2nd period on the power play. There he is, he's lost his helmet. He's still okay here, but the puck comes back to him and he plays it again. Here's the 2-on-1 earlier. Sebastian Aho turned aside by Jimmy Howard.
And the Finns back on the power play. Here's Aho with it. Lost the puck now to Larkin, who plays it ahead. And in comes Nelson, a shorthanded chance, a backhand shot. Henry makes the save.
Nelson has a shorthanded goal in this tournament.
Back at the point, Connor Murphy lays it back in deep. I believe it was Julius Honka we saw penalized in the World Junior Championship for playing without his helmet.
He was playing in the American League for Dallas, and he was out there for a good 10 seconds playing around, battling in front of the net. He just totally forgot. It was a critical penalty that he took.
Lost in the tying goal. Billy Lionen shoots, and that deflects up and over the glass. So a chance now for the Finns to extend their lead with another power play.
Savanainen plays in the high slot on the power play for Lauri Moriamaki, and two things that have really evolved here in the last couple of years offensively. One is that high slot play where guys don't even shoot it at the net anymore. They shoot it off the net and it's tipped in the high slot. The other is in the offensive zone. That forward waits around the top of the circles in between the D. Really difficult to get a hold of, so teams are trying to find different ways to create offense with the prevalence of blocking shots.
Honka drops it back for Filppula. Ahead to Puljujärvi. His pass goes off a skate. As Dvorak got in the way.
He looks really unsure to me about where he's supposed to be or where he's supposed to go. He doesn't look as confident as he has in the past yet. Then you look at Jesse Puljujärvi, he just turned 19 years old. So it's not like, it's not like he's got all this experience underneath his belt.
The MVP of the 2016 World Junior Championship with 17 points in 7 games. Finns travel well, and usually it packs.
Yes, they do. They have fun. Now the Latvians had a time here.
Yes, they did. And the Germans are still having one, and are going to have one tonight.
That's the best of scenarios for Germany to fight through the preliminary round and get themselves into the quarters. Last year they finished 9th. This year they get their hometown star, Leon Draisaitl from the Edmonton Oilers, and they're in a quarterfinal game against Canada.
30 seconds to go in this Finnish power play. Aho winds in. Sebastian Aho gets things set up. Slides it down to Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen for Sebastian Aho. This will be the backbone of Finnish national teams for decades to come. As Aho sets it up. Centers it, takes a return pass. Aho looks back. Billy Lionen back for Aho. Flips it back to Lionen, shoots. It goes off the stick of Nelson and wide. Now the clearing attempt knocked down by Aho. Final seconds of the power play. Aho lost the puck for a moment. It's picked off by Nelson. Out comes Brock Nelson with Dylan Larkin, works in. Nelson shoots. That was blocked by Lionen as Hayes steps back on. No shots on goal for the Finns on that power play. The U.S. had a good shorthanded bid from Brock Nelson.
It's an excellent kill for them. See if they generate a little energy off that.
A pass for Jani Lionen out of his reach. Hannakainen reaching for it. Marcus Hannakainen plays for Columbus in the NHL. Had that knocked away by Goodrow. Rink wide he goes, the pass in behind Hayes. And Hayes sweeps it down as Sathari leaves it there for Jakala. Topi Jakala on his backhand. Got that by Hayes, and it's loose at center ice. Oscar Rosso's pass is picked off. Shoveled wide by JT Compher. Back at the point, Hannah for the centering pass. That's tipped wide by Compher. Hayes on it now. Falling is Honka trying to knock it free. Trouba comes drifting in now. Compher with it. His pass picked off by Jani Lionen, and Lionen plays it back down to the American zone. And icing called against the Finns. They don't like that call very much. Trouba took his sweet time going back.
Well, the U.S. will get a fresh set of forwards on the ice against a Finnish team that's already been cycling around defensively in their own zone, and it does matter. You're just not as sharp when you're bent over on your stick here. I'm looking at Jani Lionen, who's going to take the face-off here, and he's gasping for breath here, trying to get a little breather in, and he'll go into the draw against Jack Eichel.
I think we just saw the Hansonen brothers for Finland.
The Hansonen?
Yeah. Got the Chiefs, got the Charleston Chiefs version of the Swami sweater on. Away comes Eichel. Eichel works in, has some room. Jack Eichel drops that back for Shea with a shot that's blocked by Aaltonen. Eichel back with it. Eichel. We watch there by Pilstrom. 6 gone here in the third period. Still 1-0 Finland. Russia still up 2-0 on the Czechs in Paris. McAvoy knocks it by Aaltonen. Picked out now by Lee. Anders Lee feeds it across for Keller. Banks it back for Shea. Down to Keller. That pass knocked down by Eichel, and the puck kept alive by Keller. In deep for Lee as Pilstrom steps into him. A long shift now in the defensive zone for these Finns. Eichel works it back across. Moving in now is McAvoy, drops it back. Shea found the one-timer. Juha-Matti Aaltonen has it, and now Shea falls. In comes Hannakainen, feeds it across. Aaltonen back across, they score! Joonas Kemppainen on a 2-on-1, taps it home, and the Finns have grabbed a 2-0 lead.
Joonas Kemppainen's first point of the tournament. And it is at a crucial time as the U.S. starting to assert themselves. Brady Shea fans on the shot. He and Kemppainen get tied up in the middle of the ice in a give and go. Kemppainen and Juha-Matti Aaltonen play pitch and catch. There's the collision at center ice. And it's an open net for Kemppainen. The two players, in my opinion, run together. It's almost incidental contact. The U.S. probably won't like it, as when Shea goes down, it opens up the 2-on-0, and now the U.S. is in a big hole.
Kemppainen played for the Bruins a season ago. 44 games, one of being signed as a free agent. Returned to Europe and plays for Novosibirsk in the KHL. The team best known for having live tigers on the ice in intermission. They're the Novosibirsk Tigers. 12:49 to go here in the third period, and the Finns have a 2-0 lead.
Congratulations and a big cheer to Mrs. Annika Borgla of the Slovakian Brigade.
Thumbs up for Finnish fans. They used the last couple of days of the preliminary round just to get to the medal round of this tournament.
Gord, I've been pretty critical of Lauri Moriamaki through the tournament. I think he's coached this tournament in a haze. These are the best decisions he's made coming into the game today. He split up his NHL forwards, Aho, Filppula, and Rantanen, and they were all on one line. There's no balance on the team. He split them up today. He's made the decision to go to Sattery in goal, and he's stuck with it. They've been more aggressive than they've been in the tournament. This is the best they've played. This is their 8th game of this tournament.
And Aho at center. Shot by Murphy, blocked in front.
Sebastian Aho can play any position on my team that he wants. I think he's an outstanding player.
Rantanen pokes that back in the corner. Hannafin back to pick it up. 12.5 to go here in the third period. Last year was the Czechs who rolled into the quarterfinal round with a 6-1 record and lost the United States in a shootout. This year, the United States, a 6-1 record. Here they come again. Aho works in, walks in, fans in that shot. He had Puljujärvi with him. And now Billy Leinen has to retreat as Brock Nelson is bearing in.
That was probably the duo that the Finns would love to have on a 2-on-1. Aho with the puck to make the pass, and Puljujärvi, one of the guys that could shoot it, and they don't get anything out of it.
Johnny Gaudreau works in now. The United States has one shot on goal here in the period. That was a shorthanded bid by Brock Nelson. Now move back to Kopp, drops it back to Kaiser. In shoots, he fired that high. That was off the glass and down to Gaudreau. Gaudreau back for to Kaiser. Shoots again, that goes wide, and Sattery pokes that away.
Another U.S. penalty.
An elbowing call will go against Kevin Hayes. Is it a slash or an elbow? We'll see. It is a slash. Kevin Hayes goes off. Another offensive zone penalty, Ray.
That's 3 of them today. That's a lazy penalty for Hayes to take. It means nothing. It had nothing to do with the play. Here's a great chance for Dan De Keyser earlier on. His shot deflected by Puljujärvi up over the net. Now the Finns can really drive the dagger in here. They're on their 5th power play today. The U.S. has had just one. The Finns look for a 3-0 lead.
Team USA number 26, Kevin Hayes, 2 minutes penalty for slashing. Time 48 minutes and 36 seconds.
Ray, I got a Finnish construction crew doing work on my house. Apparently there's no work being done right now. The boys are all watching the game.
Well, do you have TVs set up? Is the house in, you got TVs in there yet? Maybe they're all on your new couch and sitting in there.
Hope so. Maybe paint during the commercial breaks, fellas.
You can throw a coat of paint on between periods.
Filppula winds in for Puljujärvi. Off the end boards it goes. Filppula picks it back up. It just skipped away from him. Filppula has it back. Works in, waits, drops it back. Aaltonen. Back for Honka. To Juha-Matti Aaltonen. Down to Filppula. 10.5 to go in the third period. Filppula swings it rink wide. In comes Puljujärvi, a hard shot, and Howard got a piece of that. Jimmy Howard holding the U.S. in here as Hanifin picks up the loose puck and lays it down to the finish zone. Filppula swings it back and leaves it there for Hietanen.
Finns taking their time with a change. They got 40 seconds with their number 1 group here.
Midway point now of the third period. In comes Ville Lionen. Plays it around for Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen. Here's in the corner with it. De Keyser left it there for Trouba. He drops it back. It's picked off by Savanainen. Now Rantanen knocks it down in the corner. Centers it. That gets by Aho. And back down to the finish zone as Ville Lionen's back to pick it up. 10 seconds to go in the power play. Lead pass finds Rantanen. Works it back into the slot. Brady Shea knocks that away.
Say after giving up the power play goal to Rantanen earlier, the U.S.'s penalty killers have been outstanding, keeping them in the game.
One shot for the Finns in that power play. Now working in is McAvoy. Charlie McAvoy centers it. That's knocked away by Jääkelä. Topi Jääkelä lost the puck for Dvorak. Christian Dvorak now stripped by Aho at the end of a long shift for him. Shea knocks it down at the line.
Dvorak's first shift in a while.
Lead pass finds Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow drops it back. Annikainen sweeps that down to the American zone. Howard out to play it. Jack Eichel still looking to break through at this World Championship. Fires that down. Sattery knocks it away. Now picked off by Honka. And Julius Honka works ahead along with Annikainen. Honka shovels that in deep. Hanifin has it back. Lead pass to Eichel. Chopped away and back to center ice as Hanifin swings back to pick it up. Still 2-0 Russia in Paris against the Czech Republic. Goodrow works it in for Lee. Back to Johnny Goodrow. His centering pass broken up by Jääkelä. Now back at the point. That shot bounces around in front. And Lee couldn't pick it up. And the puck was played with a high stick. And play is called with 7:59 to go in the third period. The Finns up by 2.
At the current game in Paris, it's the quarterfinal of Russia versus Czech Republic. The final score of the third period is Russia 2, Czech Republic 0. Sieht gleich on the screen. Wir schauen schon mal nach Paris zum Viertelfinale Russland gegen Tschechien. Sie sehen die fünfte andere Nationalmannschaft im dritten Drittel. Russland führt mit 2:0.
Jeff Blashill in the timeout was talking to Seth Appert, one of his assistant coaches. They had the lines out. You're looking for a new combination, something that punches you through here. Under 8 minutes left, down a couple of goals, and the U.S. needs something to spark this team.
If there's one thing the Finns have been able to do well historically, it's defend.
That's the danger in these games, right? We've talked about the one and outs, and the Finns are really comfortable in this position. They've got a lead. They don't look like they've panicked. They don't look like they're running around. Even though there's been portions of the game where they haven't attacked, they've been the better team, however, this afternoon.
Finnish players are born defensively responsible.
Well, when you're a smaller country, just 5 million people in the country, you've got to punch above your weight, and they've been able to do that for years and years and years. And here's Harry Satari, who started out as the backup goaltender to Jonas Korpisalo. In the third, with the second to last game of the tournament, he came in relief down 2-0. He stopped 21 straight shots. Then he lost against Canada 5-2. And then gets the start here in the quarterfinal game. And he made the one save on Nelson where he didn't have a clue where the puck was, but he's been really solid, and he's been helped by the U.S., who've just not been able to test him repeatedly on the same shift. I think Eichel just got hit in the face here, and he's going back to the U.S. bench.
Keller goes back.
That's actually Keller, my mistake. Oh, he's cut. He's throwing his helmet and his gloves down on the U.S. bench.
McAvoy tries to bank that ahead. The puck goes into the U.S. bench as Clayton Keller gets looked at, the 18-year-old from St. Louis. Puck.
Oh. We saw the other night in the Canadian game where Mitch Marner lost half of his front tooth. And this doesn't feel very good for Clayton Keller, still working with the U.S. trainer at the bench. You see 5 goals in the tournament, just 18 years old. At the World Junior Tournament this past December and January, had 11 points for the gold medal winning U.S.
One of 5 players from St. Louis drafted in the first round in the 2016 National Hockey League draft.
That's an astounding feat for that hockey program in St. Louis.
8 overall, but 5 in the first round.
He's got a lot of Johnny Gaudreau in him. Small, slithery, great hands.
7 to go here in the third period. Finns up by 2. Played around as Pierala gets to it. Banks it down low to Aho. Sebastian Aho. Bumped there by McAvoy, and Aho works it back in deep. What a game this line has had. They've got Hannakainen there now with Pierala instead of Puljujarvi. In comes Hayes with it now. Hayes banks it around, trying to find Bukestad. He chomps out of behind the goal. Picked up by Jani Lainen. Away they go. Oscillating across the line. He lost it. Trouba banks it back ahead. And Bukestad trying to move around Jääkelä. Tompi Jääkelä's had a big afternoon as well for the Finns defensively. But out against his top line most of the time. As Jääkelä looks ahead for Hannakainen. Brock Nelson knocks Hannakainen off stride. They joust. And now Trouba has it back. Jake Trouba across to Brock Nelson. In shoots off a leg and wide. And Jääkelä gathers up the loose puck.
George, you mentioned earlier that the Finns didn't get many NHL players this year, most of them for various reasons not back here. But what they did is collect players who are experienced. You just mentioned Topi Jääkelä. Jääkelä's 33. Lassi Kukinen's 35. Those are cornerstones of their defense. Here's the 2-0 goal. Brady Shea and Jonas Kampainen collide together. Turns into a 2-on-1 that Kampainen fires across to Aaltonen, and Aaltonen's pass is right on the tee, and Jonas Kampainen has his first point of the tournament. Aaltonen with his second assist, and so unlikely scoring adds to a 1-0 lead and makes it 2.
Rantanen lays that across, and Kukkonen lays it back down to the U.S. zone. Pietinen banks out ahead. Here's Rantanen on it. Again, the centering pass and a stave made there by Sattery. Point blank on Eichel. And Sattery was hit in the mask. Immediately raised his right arm to indicate the official that he was a little staggered. And that's the new interpretation last couple of years in the IIHF.
There's Jack Eichel, long stick, upright skating stride. Takes the give and go pass. Gets it back from Nick Schmaltz, and his one-timer hits the mask of Sattery and
broken.
Oh, you see the throat protector got shattered. It was broken in half, so they'll give him some time to cut this thing off. And they won't have the time to lock on a new one. So likely Sattery will have to go back in the net without the throat protector. Yeah, they just cut it off the bottom.
Must be an uncomfortable feeling if you're used to having one.
I would think it would feel a lot different. Oftentimes we never thought about the goalie, so
no, you don't.
So whatever they have, stop the puck, would you?
Ron Hextall liked to say that when you played with him and Brandon, he only saw you at school.
Well, why go back there? We paid him no money when we were playing junior. It was his job to stop the puck.
You gave all the equipment. Osala. Heels back in the corner. Here's Yakala. Swings it across to Kukin. Look out! That's a hot one to the American bench. And Kukin waves an apology to the U.S. bench.
Everybody gets a deep breath in there as everyone's safe. It's a good look.
Not sure which is better, the top hat or the headband. I'm kind of partial to the top hat myself.
When we were walking across the street, the fan zone right outside was not as busy as it was in the past week with a little bit of rain today, but with the Germans about ready to tee off here at 8:15, it's going to get busy in a hurry. It's a cool area here.
4.5 to go in the third period. Johnny Goodrow flips that down. Rantanen knocks that down. And now Filppula digs it free and moves it back to center ice. McAvoy plays that across to Larkin. In comes Dylan Larkin. Back for Goodrow. Line changes now for the U.S. Hanifin sends it down. Cover tipped right on goal. The save made there by Sattery. Brought back in by Savanainen, and he was hit by Noah Hanifin, who got half of them. And now McAvoy has it back. Timmy Panarin has scored. 3-0 Russia on the Czech Republic. Nick Schmaltz plays it in. Laid down by Shane behind the goal. A centering pass just missed Anders Lee. As Eichel threw that in front. Now the Finns bring it back. Puljujärvi. Aho falls. Eichel has it back. Poked ahead by Schmaltz. An icing call against the U.S. with 3:20 remaining.
Hanifin shot tipped on net, and Dylan Larkin with two great chances to make this 2-1. Sattery with the stop once, and then the second one on Larkin with the left pad. He's been outstanding when he's had to be. 20 shots tonight for the U.S., and Sattery stopped them all.
Sattery, a fourth-round pick of San Jose in 2008, spent 4 years in the American League playing for them.
Now 3 years in the KHL.
Had a good year for Vityaz Podolsk, just outside Moscow, and .929 save percentage. Jimmy Howard was inching towards the U.S. bench, but now retreats as Trouba goes back. Whoa, look out, drop back for Goodrow. That photo just wide.
That's a little microcosm of how the day's gone for the U.S. 3 of them collide as they're trying to get the goalie out of the net.
Now Howard moves to the bench. The extra skater comes on for Team USA. And it is Larkin. Hanifin, lead pass, knocked down by Aho. He picks it up, throws it back down to the American zone and wide of the empty net. And that'll be icing against the Finns.
See, I don't mind this play by Aho at all. It's an icing call, sure. The faceoff goes back to your zone, but the Finns were a little discombobulated around the bench. Now they get to settle things down and get themselves organized for the face-off. A 1-goal lead, I don't like it as much.
Looks like the Finns are going to call timeout here.
They might not have to. By the time they finish fiddling around here, they've rested for almost a minute.
Didn't have to do it. Kemppainen wins that face-off. Swept back in the corner for Larkin. Down to Nelson. Brock Nelson banks it back for Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow feeds it back to McAvoy. Goodrow centers the tip right on, so Terry makes the save on Larkin. Now fed back down to the American zone, and hustling back is McAvoy. Icing waved off. Lead pass to Goodrow out there with Eichel and Nelson. Now Goodrow turned away. Up ahead for Nelson. He was poke checked. And Ultima hit with a high stick from Jack Eichel. A penalty coming to Team USA. Another offensive zone penalty for the United States, this time with 1:52 remaining in the third period.
6 times the U.S. has been shorthanded. They've just not had it today. You see Eichel go to get his stick inside of Ultima's, and he just rips his helmet off. And now the Finns will try and run this out. Control the puck, no need to shoot it. And if you're the US, you've got to hustle and try and dislodge the puck somewhere, and then everybody jump into the rush.
Ray, this result was hard to imagine when the Finns were being beaten 5-1 by France.
They looked as out of sync as you possibly could imagine. This was the most passive, disorganized Finnish team I can remember in a long time. And they're now a minute 52 away from the semifinals.
They played a nearly perfect game.
Last year when they were undefeated till the gold medal game, Canada played the perfect game. For the Finns, it's been this.
Honka shoots at the flex high and wide.
See, I wouldn't shoot the puck if I'm the Finns. I'd just hold it. Why even give the puck back to the U.S.? Now here goes the goalie again.
Brady Shea works in. Extra skater comes on. It's Anders Lee. And that pass by Trouba goes off a stick out of play, and the faceoff will be in the finish zone. 1:30 remaining here in the third.
What a disappointing performance this has turned out to be this afternoon for the United States. Jimmy Howard's played well. He was beaten on a power play that was a third rebound that went in, and then a 2-on-1 that was a one-time open netter. But this is not on Howard.
The winner of this game gets the winner of Sweden-Switzerland in the semifinals on Saturday. Face-off one back to Trouba. Across he goes. Shea with a shot off the end boards, and it's the back of the net. Kukkonen plays that to the line. Not out. Larkin back down to Lee. U.S. net is empty. Finns, though, do have the power play. And now the Finns touch up. A holding call is going to go against Ati Otama with 1:14 to go in the third.
So essentially the U.S., if they can get this puck here on the draw, they'll have a 5-on-4 power play because their goal will be empty. Otama is going to latch on with the left arm here. He's got a fistful of Anders Lee's jersey. Lee, one of the players to take offensive zone penalties. He took 2 of them today. Eichel took 1. Brock Nelson took 1. And now Jeff Blashill will call a timeout and get his power play on the ice. Jimmy Howard not even budging down at the far end. He'll stay on the bench here for the U.S.
At the tail end of this, there would be some 5-on-3 time for the U.S. No, there would not. So, well, sorry, 6-on-4. Pardon me, with the net, with the goalie out. So 1:14 remaining.
It'll be like this actually until the end of the game, as the U.S. penalty won't expire in time. But basically, the U.S. has got a power play here. They look for one to get within one.
It'll be Kemppainen for the face-off against Larkin, and Kemppainen wins it. Kukkinen plays it around and fires it down the ice. This is even strength icing against the Finns.
Es gibt eine Strafe gegen das Team Finnland mit der 55. Dazu Aufkommen und 2 Strafminuten wegen Halten des Stocks. Die Zeit 58:46.
And Larkin once again steps in for the face-off against Kemppainen. Russia has defeated the Czech Republic 3-0. The Russians move on to the semis. Will face the winner of the Canada-Germany game tonight. Back at the line is Hannafin. Noah Hannafin swings that down in the corner. Picked up by Hayes. Hayes drops it back for Hannafin. Works in, Hannafin drops it back to Hayes. Hayes swings it across and a hard shot taken there by Goodrow, turned away. Sattery with the save. And the loose puck knocked back down the ice. And once again, icing call. And it's getting a little foggy down at ice level. A warm day here in Cologne. 40 seconds remaining. We welcome those of you who are watching the game in Paris. The Russians to win there, and more surprisingly, the Finns with 40 seconds remaining here in the third period, a 2-0 lead on the United States. Mikko Rantanen scored a power play goal in the second, and then Jonas Kemppainen in the third makes it 2-0, and the United States, which came in with 6 consecutive wins, can't break through. Goodrow swings it across. Hayes taps it back. Shot by Trouba goes off the leg of Kemppainen. Goodrow down low to Lane. Across to Hayes. U.S. net is empty. Centering pass, tipped on goal. A great chance for Larkin. Turned away by Sattery. 20 seconds to go now. Trouba with a shot. That's blocked. And the puck comes back out to center ice. Goodrow. Across to Larkin. Centering pass for Goodrow. Goes wide in the corner. He centers it. Lee with a shot. Sattery save. Loose puck again. They battle away for it. Trouba kicking at it. And the Finns win it by a final score of 2-0. The Finns, who barely got to the medal round, take out the first place team from Group A and win it by a final score of 2-0.
I wouldn't have thought this was possible given what we watched in the first 7 games. The Finns were just timid and passive. They weren't either of those today. They get the power play goal at the start of the second. Harry Sattery was perfect in goal for the Finns, and the U.S. just never found it today. 6 straight wins, and they came up flat in the quarterfinal.
Finns will get the winner of the Sweden-Switzerland quarterfinal being played in Paris later on tonight. But the Finns are on to the semis on Saturday.
The prizes will be presented by the President des WM-Organisationskomitees, the President of the Organizing Committee 2017 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship, Franz Reichle. The best player of Team USA is the USA. Number 35, die 35, Jimmy Howard. Finland, der beste Spieler des Teams Finnland, Number 29, die 29, Harry Stenzel. Best players of each team of the tournament will be presented by Kushwitz, official sponsor of the 2017 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship. Meine Damen und Herren, und nun werden die Preise für die besten Spieler einer Mannschaft bei diesem Turnier vergeben. Diese Preise werden präsentiert von Kushwitz, der offiziellen Sponsor dieser Eishockey-Weltmeisterschaft. The 3 best players are selected by each team and will be presented by Die 3 besten Spieler wurden von den Mannschaften selbst ausgewählt und die Preise werden übergeben von IIHF Council Member Susanna Kohl. The 3 best players of Team USA are die 3 besten Spieler des Teams USA sind Number 13, die 13, Johnny Goodrow. Number 27, die 27, Anders Lee. And number 21, die 21, Dylan Larkin. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Finland. Meine Damen und Herren, bitte erheben Sie sich nun für die finnische Nationalmannschaft. The 2017 IIHF Basketball World Championship will continue tonight and Access Arena at 8:15 p.m. with the game Canada versus Germany. Die Eishockey-Weltmeisterschaft hier in der Access Arena geht heute ab. Also um 7:45 mit dem Viertelfinale Kanada gegen Deutschland. Es gibt noch Tickets an den Tageskassen. Also vielleicht einen Freund oder Nachbarn noch Bescheid sagen. Heute Abend Team Deutschland braucht eure Unterstützung gegen Kanada.
Mikko, a game-winning goal for yourself. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, it was a good power play. We had a couple good passes there, and then Aho made a great play to Savinainen, and then I just got the rebound there, so it was good.
The team is missing some of its star firepower. What does it mean to the team to be able to win and move on to the semifinals without them?
Yeah, it's a big thing. We had some rough times in this tournament, but we knew that we can win these big teams if we just play together. And I have to say that Sateri played an excellent game in the goal, so that he gave us the win.
How important will great goaltending be moving forward?
It's a big thing, you know. We don't have the best team in the paper, so we need Harry and Korpisalo to be great, and they're doing their job. So we just have to enjoy it.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Jürgens nach dem Erfolg ist auf die letzten Spiele in der Welt. Team USA, timeout. The prizes will be presented by die Kaiserwetter AG, dem Präsidenten des WM-Organisationskomitees, the President